everybody, it's me, Lance Meixter, the Undead Viking. I'm going to be reviewing a game for you. Now, the game, as you probably know, that I'm reviewing for you today is the brand new game from Fantasy Flight Games, XCOM, the board game. Now, if you are unfamiliar with XCOM, the computer game, and it was a game that actually came out in the early, mid-90s. I remember I played it way back in the day. And I actually played it on my PlayStation 2, if I remember correctly. And there was a game called XCOM, and then there was a game called XCOM, like the Terror Unknown, or I think the first one was Terror Unknown. And then there was one that was like Terror from the Sea, because like the actual, there was, it was based in the water, if you will. The sea. And then there was actually like a real-time strategy one that didn't go over real well, like a third one. And then what happened was, because the game was turn-based strategy, like squad combat, and also monitoring the Earth and making sure that you had your radar up and everything like that. And then just recently, in the last year or so, there was a reboot, if you will, which it kind of looked like this. And it was for PC, and it was for the PS3 and Xbox 360 and what have you. And it really went over like gangbusters. I mean, and I played it on my PC, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. I mean, it was just kind of like going back and playing the game with an old friend that had a spit and polish, if you will. And so when I heard that this game was coming out, I was like, ooh, oh really? You know? And then when I heard that, you know, it was a Fantasy Flight game, I was like, okay, I'm just going to have overproduced miniatures, and I was thinking about all the different, like, squad combat things it was going to be about, and I was just like, oh man, this game might be, like, just right up my alley. And then, as you can probably see where this is going, and then I found out that it really wasn't that. It was like they didn't have the squad combat in the game. At least not like I remember from like the PC version. Because, and then it was more based on, from what I gathered and from the conversations I had with people, it was the information that I had said that it was more about just kind of like the maintenance, if you will, and the combat itself was going to be very abstract. I mean, at least when in comparison to what I was expecting. And I was like, oh, well, you know, I mean, maybe, you know, the game will be okay. You know, I mean, it's still XCOM, right? It's still, you know, fighting the aliens, stuff like that. And then my buddy Joel Eddy said, oh, hey, did you hear? It's like going to be run by an app. Now, I'm not going to get too much in this introduction as far as the whole whether or not board games need to be using an electronic device to be able to be played. I really don't want to talk about that too much, but I will say this: the air kind of went out of the balloon for me quite a bit. Now, if like I had found that out immediately at that point, that was what's going to happen. I mean, I definitely would be in a position of like, well, have fun playing the game. But as time went by, and I read about it, and I heard about it, and my buddy Joel that I mentioned got a copy, and he gushed about it. And then I was interested. And then I was actually contacted by Bobby Stickle over at GTS Distribution, and he asked me if I wanted a copy of the game. And I said, yeah, go ahead and send it. And he was kind enough to do that. And so now I have a copy of it. It's sitting right in front of me. And now I've played it a few times. And so I'm going to tell you exactly, the game is, this is going to be weird showing you how to play, because I'm going to have to use my wife's tablet that has the app on it, as you can see. And I'm going to have to kind of stumble through how to show you how to play the game. And but I'm going to do that. And then we're going to come back here, and I'll seriously try not to bore you with any kind of discussion about the inclusion of app software within a board game. But it is something I think I should touch on. So, alright, cool. Well, let me tell you exactly how to play XCOM, the board game. And if you think I'm going to be flipping this up in the air when we come back, no chance. Alright, here is the giant game board for XCOM, the board game. Alright, I've set this up as a 4-player game. You can play it solo and like control all the stuff all by yourself. You can play with 2 or 3 or whatever. You just have to split up the roles. The roles of the game are the squad leader. They're sitting over here. As you can see, they're in charge. They're in charge of all the missions and the deployment of the soldiers, and also defending your base, if you will. The chief scientist is up there. You can't really see them. I apologize for that. I just don't have enough room. Chief scientists, they do research, and then they also use alien materials for salvage for different things. The commander is sitting down here. Once again, you can't see that. I do apologize. I will pull stuff out. You can see it in just a moment. But the commander, they're in charge of the budget. That's huge, because they have to make sure that you don't overspend, because if you overspend, then the countries hate you and they get worried, and they go up on this track, and then the terror track, and if you ever get 2 countries all the way up into orange, you lose the game. The other way to lose the game, just while I'm talking about that, is that if aliens damage your base all the way to this spot over here, you lose the game as well. That's how you lose the game, and that's really easy to do, actually. So the commander will resolve crisis cards. Crisis cards are basically just bad things that happen. And so, like, you know, here's a card that says discard all salvage. Salvage is when you kill aliens, you get salvage, and salvage is like a very, very good resource that your scientists can use to get stuff done. And let's see another one here. Deal 2 damage to the base. And you just 2 damage. Oh, look, we lose. Great. Yay. Anyway, so they'll handle the crisis cards when they come. And they're also in charge of global defense, meaning that they are going to take interceptors, these cool little, and obviously this is a fantasy flight game, so they've done a very good job with their sculpts. Here's a really cool looking interceptor. It looks like it's right out of the recent computer game. And then they will place these into these spots where they will have alien ships. And just so you can see an alien ship. Once again, great sculpt. Looks like it came right straight out of the computer game. And so then, and when you place the UFOs, they end up being placed in one of these areas, like Europe, Asia, Africa, and also they can be in orbit around the Earth right there. And just so you can see, I'm going to show you the sculpts of the units. Here's your sniper, and this little notch right here. At times you'll be able to take a soldier and train them. And when you're able to train them, you put that in the notch, and then they become an elite soldier. And they're better. They get to roll more dice, basically. So that's a good thing. Rolling more dice is usually a good thing. Here, and I'll just show you the other ones real quick too. Before we move on, here's your heavy weapons guy with his bazooka, or anti-tank weapon or whatever it is. This is your assault. You can see they got a shotgun, pretty cool. And finally, your support. This is like your medic, and they have different powers, and just awesome sculpts all around. And as all, but I mean, you'd expect nothing less from a fantasy flight game. They do an amazing job with their components. So anyway, you give one of these roles to each person. Oh, and I forgot to say, the central officer, or communications officer as I call them, they handle the communication. They handle they will put the UFOs on the board, and then they'll assign satellites to orbit defense, and they keep track of the threat meter, which is over here. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that is something you do in the resolution phase, but we'll show you that when we get to it. So, the communications or central officer is also going to be in charge of the app, and here it is. This is on my wife's Google app here, and so we'll just go ahead, and I think this is a Nexus 10 or whatever. So, so when you hit play, it asks you how many players. So we're playing with 4, so we'll go ahead and click 4, hit next, and then we're asking which difficulty. Now, the harder it gets, obviously, the harder it is. I'm going to play it on easy just so I don't have to use the pause or anything to show this to you, and it's going to take a little bit of time. Oh, and I should turn up the volume just a little bit, because it does actually have some pretty awesome music in the background. Huh? Pretty cool. Right out of the board, right out of the computer game. So, and actually, like, when different things happen, the music changes, and it's very thematic, actually, which is nice. But so I'm going to pick easy. Tutorial, everyone should go through the tutorial when you get the game, and then if you need a rules refresher, do that as well. The big difference between easy and normal, and for that matter hard and expert, it's the time and how tough the game is. In easy, you have unlimited pause time. Now normally when the game tells you got to do something, you have a certain amount of time to do it, and if you don't do it, you get skipped. So we're just going to click easy, like so, and hit next. So now it's going to ask you to set up which invasion plan is going to be affected. So you kind of can go through all of these, and you can just pick one. And before the game, you'll decide which one you want to do. So I think I just stopped at infiltration, so I'll pick that. But here are the different missions, like basically how the aliens are trying to take over the planet. So we're going to find infiltration. And you'll notice right here it says, add the top card of the crisis deck face down to the crisis pool, and has this little mark right there. So what that means is if the base ever gets damaged to either of these red spots, here or here, you automatically take that action right there. Now on the back of this is the final mission. That's how you win the game. You have to defeat this final mission. And if you defeat the final mission, like it says right there, win the game. So you take this and you put it down right there. And so you know what that is, and you don't flip it over until the game tells you. The rest of these you just discard, you put them to the side, you won't be using them this particular game. So we have the invasion plan, now we hit next, and now this tells you which aliens you'll be using in this particular battle. And so you have this giant deck of aliens here. And so we're going to use the sectoid commander, the floater, and the thin man. So I'm going to go ahead and dig those out of this giant deck of all these different aliens. And there's multiple ones of each one. So sectoid commander, sectoid, and you know what, I'm not going to bore you by having you look through all these with me. So magic of video editing, begin! Alright, so that time passed like nothing for you. So now we have our thin man, our floaters, our sectoid commanders, and our sectoids in here. I think, yeah. And so let me just, so you can see what they are. Like, here is like a sectoid commander. If they have any kind of special abilities or anything like that, you'll see them listed here. Like Mind Merge, the first success rolled against the enemy each round does not place an effect on it. Basically, each time you do that, it's like a damage. And so this is how much damage you have to do to defeat the sectoid commander. And then these little symbols here, as you can see, will match up to symbols that are located on unit cards, as you can see. And so then if you can match those up, then those units can be used to fight said alien. So we go ahead and we're going to shuffle this deck here. And so we can get that taken care of. And so now we have our alien deck that the squad leader will be in charge of. And, okay, so now we're going to move on to, as we see here, the setup. We're on step 4 of 6. We're going to hit next, and now we are on, our HQ location is going to be in North America. And so we're going to go ahead and place this particular spot there. Now obviously this changes with each game. And then it tells the air and space asset card as well as the officer training and emergency funding asset cards remain in the commander's player. All the other ones are gone. So we're going to take emergency funding, officer training. Officer training obviously allows you to, this one allows you to make elites out of your soldiers. And this one, you get to place $10 here basically as your slush fund, emergency funding. And so then we're going to find air and space. There we go. And the rest of these, once again, are not going to be used this particular game. So we have this, and we have 3, and then so air and space, what it does is exhaust this, and you build 1 extra interceptor, basically for free, during the time phase, and then we can only use it if North America's panic level is in yellow. And you can tell that these are a time phase because there's a time marker there. I'll just show you, like, when it isn't a time, when it's like a resolution phase type thing, it'll have these boxes here like that. So just so you know, that's how that works. And so you can't really see the commander section, but we'll place that down here in the commander area along with everything else that they have. And then we're going to go ahead and go into next. and set starting panic levels. So now the game tells us where to set the panic level. So America is already up there, which is not good, obviously. So we're going to go ahead and place America here. And then it says South America and Europe are on the lowest level, and all the rest are there. So Europe and South America and everything else is right there. Now, panic levels will increase for lots of different reasons, but the most common ones are if you have, if you overspend your budget, which will cause whichever is the most panicked spot on the board to increase, or also UFOs that don't get taken care of, that you don't shoot down. If UFOs are over different areas and you don't shoot them down, the terror level of that particular spot will increase as well, because of the fact that everybody is waiting for those aliens to come down and kill them, obviously. It should also be noted that if you have any UFOs in orbit and you haven't destroyed them, whichever country is in the least panicked will also increase by 1 for each UFO that is there. If there's more than one that ties for that, then the communications or central officer will just pick one to do that too. All right, so now we're going to go, and the game is finally ready to start. After we've gone ahead and set up everything, we're good to go. We're going to hit start, and it's going to have begin round 1, and we just click on that. And now it goes to this deploying, and you do this little countdown, and you go. Alright, so I'm going to hit pause here. So normally see how there's like this 8 seconds and it goes down. So new technology available. This is what it starts off with every single time. The chief scientist, what they will do, and like I said, I apologize that you can't see this, but the chief scientist has a deck of cards that is stuff that they can build or research. And they're going to get 6 cards. Now, they don't discard the cards unless they use a special ability that the Research Center, which is this card here. I'm not really going to go into each and every spot, but they can use that to discard cards and draw new ones. But what they can do is they get these 3 spots to assign research to while they go through the time phase. And when you assign those research, then they go out of your hand, and then at the beginning of the next hand, you'll get to draw back up to 6. Now, you get these 6, you get the research cards, and then up here is how difficult it is to get. So this one's 3, so it's the most difficult. A bunch of 2s and a 1. And you get to decide to put those in these locations, and then you assign scientists to these locations as well. Every single interceptor, scientist, satellite, or soldier that gets placed on the board to do something will cost 1 credit when it comes time to pay the budget. So this is one of those things where you always have to keep in mind. So if you're going to go after some research, you got to think about how many scientists you theoretically need to assign to something to be able to succeed, since you need to get that many successes to be able to pull it off. So you have like Carapace Armor, and then resolution phase, exhaust this, reroll an alien die during a mission of enemy task. So you get a second chance, place 1 support here, prevent 1 soldier from being killed. And so there's all these hyperwave comm, reduce panic in continent number 1. So all these different abilities. Now you'll notice that all these things actually say who they go to. So if you research this, if you research satellite targeting, you would give this technology to the central officer. So the player over there would get this, and they place it in front of them, and it'd be something else they could use as their power ability. So that's, place a satellite here, reduce threat by 1 before rolling, limit twice per round. Well, that's amazing. That's a really good power, right? And so you can see all of these are resolution phase things, except for this one is during the time phase. They use this during the time phase. So that's the first thing that happens. The scientist character or player will get that bar. So now we go ahead and hit, well, we can hit done, but you can hit resume. You can see the time goes down like that. So you hit done, you go to the next one. So now you get the credits. So the commander will get 13 credits. So you have, this is one of those things where this can actually take some time. And I've actually found that we use poker chips for this because it's easier to count poker chips than these little cardboard counters. And I have actually heard, and I can imagine it would probably work way better. Instead of, you can either put these in stacks of 3, and so then they're easier to count, because you only get, like, in this situation, you have like 9 seconds to count, and it gets less, trust me, to count out how many credits you get at the beginning of the game. So, and I've also heard, and it might be cheating, I don't know, but just having a piece of scratch paper and write down, okay, we got 13. You know, and it's something that you can do quickly and easily. But I have heard, like, putting these in stacks of 3, it's very easy. So you just say, okay, I got 13, so I take 4 stacks of 3 and 1 more. 13, I'm done. But anyway, so then you know how much you can spend. You remember what I said about the budget? Okay, good. So now we have that. We're going to hit done. And then the next thing, assign research 1. So now this is when, you notice you have 16 seconds, and I'm pausing it, obviously. So it says, notice how you can see that it kind of pushes these things down, and you can go through them. But here the chief scientist will get to pick one. He assigns it to this, to 1. And so he's going to assign the research and also assign scientists to it. So he looked through these, and, you know, the hyperwave cannon, well, that's, you know, pretty good power. You know, exhaust this, you reduce panic in a continent by 1. Well, that's always good. You know, you can maybe get America down. So we're going to put that one there. We're going to go ahead and take 2 scientists. We're going to place that like there and like there. They're going to be working on that particular research. And so then we will go, we say we're done with that. Now it's a crisis. Okay, so what happens with a crisis is that the commander has this crisis deck, as I said, right? They draw 2 cards from the top. What they'll do is they'll pick one of these 2 and place it face up in the crisis location. So here we have the first 2 successes rolled against each mission task this round. Do not place a token on it. Ugh, that's horrible. Shuffle the crisis deck, then immediately draw and resolve the top crisis. So that's no good either. But, you know what? I don't like that whole thing of not being able to do the mission. So we're going to put that one down there, and we're going to discard this one. So we're going to go ahead and put that to the side, and that's your crisis. And now notice you don't do that right now. You resolve the crisis deck in the resolution phase. Alright, so now we've done that. Done. And choose mission. Alright, so now this actually, you get a lot of time to choose a mission, because the squad leader has a lot to look at. So what they'll do, much like with the crisis deck, let's grab all of them here. Much like with the crisis deck, they will take 2 of these cards, and they will look at the 2 missions, and they'll decide which ones they want to do. So the first thing they should look at is they should see, like, target extraction. The chief scientist researches 1 tech from their hand. And reduce panic in South America by 2. Well, South America's on 1, but getting a free tech is pretty nice. What's this one? Build 2 interceptors for free. Reduce panic in Australia by 2. Well, it's on 1, so which one? Now what they do is they look at the markers on here. So, and here we have these different markers that are going to show up on different squad members over there. And this right here means you're placing an alien location. So both of these get one alien, and I really like that extra tech for free. I should mention that this one that has the yellow around it, if you match up a unit that has this particular symbol, they get to roll 2 dice. So, you know, so that's something you, and the same thing here, but, so each one of these, I should mention, is something you do. Like, you have to defeat this part, you have to defeat this part, you have to defeat this part, and then the particular mission is over. And you can see it's actually located in South America. So what we're going to do is we're going to go take this, we're going to go ahead and put that there. That's what we're going to do for our mission. And we're going to put the other one away. And so now the squad leader has chosen their mission. So we hit done. Another crisis. Ah, jeez. So we get another crisis, and you can get multiples of these. So it's not uncommon, especially after like things start getting really bad. You start getting lots of crisis cards. So let's see what we got this time. Lose half of the money in the emergency funding asset card. Ugh, because you start off, I should mention that, with the emergency funding, you start off with 10 on here, but you need that slush fund. So that, we're not using that one. What's this other one? Increase panic in Europe by 1. Fine, whatever. You know, Europe is just going to get more panicked. I'm not going to lose my money. Money is so important in this game. So here we go. We've done. And then enemy in the base. Okay, this is pretty cool. So what you do with enemy in the base is you take the top card of your alien deck, you flip it over, Sectoid Commander, and you place it here in the base. So somebody's going to have to fight that alien and to kill him so he doesn't do damage to the base. And this is that mind merge. First success rolled against him, doesn't work. So we're going to go ahead and put that there. So now we got an alien in the base. Curse them! So we're going to hit done. And UFO detected. Okay. So what we have here is we have one UFO in Europe. And no other UFOs, just one. That's not so bad. So we're going to go ahead and take one UFO and put it in Europe, like so. Oh, but remember we have that extra going up panic in Europe, so we have to make sure we take care of that guy. So we're going to hit done. We're going to pause it. Another crisis. Holy cow. Just crisis, crisis, crisis. So here we go. We're going to go. And so we have kill 2 soldiers or increase panic by 1. No, we're not just going to kill 2 soldiers. We're going to increase the panic in North America, which will stink. But hopefully we can get that hyperwave calm and we can knock that down. So we're going to go ahead, hit done, and deploy interceptors. Now, we have one alien in there. And so we're going to go ahead and take, and you get 6 interceptors to start with. The commander, you can't see it, and I apologize for that. But the commander has this card that keeps the interceptors on. And you get 6 to begin the game. So, in this situation, you know, we might actually have more UFOs come out. So let's go ahead and we can place 2 interceptors up there just in case we get that. And you know what? I'm a little concerned that maybe possibly we will get another in North America. We really got to take care of the panic there. So we're just going to do that to hedge our bets. So we have done. And another crisis. Ah, man, this first round is just really giving us a lot of these cards. So, either spawn 2 UFOs in orbit, or kill 1 soldier assigned to the mission. Well, we're not doing that. We're not killing soldiers. At the very least, we haven't gotten to the deploy satellite phase. So if we get more UFOs in orbit, we can still maybe do something about that. So we'll hit done. Emergency funding available. Now, in this case, we have a situation. As I said, you have this card, and there's 10 credits on here. Now, you can't just take all 10 credits because any money that you have left over at the end of the round that you haven't spent, you lose. And so you have to make sure that you don't just take a big giant slush fund right out of there. Right now, I think we're sitting really good for money. I mean, if you look at it, we got 3 interceptors out. That's 3. We've got 2 scientists out. That's 5. We're probably going to end up with 3 satellites, so that's 8, but we still have 5 left. We're going to have to assign a few guys to both the mission and to defend the base. With 5 left, we're going to put 5 soldiers. You know what? Maybe we'll take like 2 off this and add it so we have 15 total. We can see if that happens. Because remember, you can use leftover money to buy soldiers and interceptors after the fact. So we're going to go ahead, hit done, and deploy squad to mission. Okay, so now we look at the mission. As I said, it has, you know, the symbol, that symbol. Oh, and whoops, I apologize. I totally forgot to give this an alien. So it should have been on there. So now when we do that, we flip the alien over. And so we have a thin man, and he's got that symbol there. So it looks like we're definitely going to need a guy with those symbols. There's like 4 of those, 1 of this, and 1 of this. And so, and we have to make sure, because you have to be able to fight those. So if you look at the card, you can see that it's the assault that has that particular result. And so let's make sure we put both of our assault guys on this particular mission. And since we need somebody that, and the assault can actually get that one as well. So let's go ahead and put 1 sniper on there to get that last icon. Hopefully those 3 will be able to take care of that mission, or at least do some damage on it. Because you can actually save the mission and, like, you know, and try to defeat it the next round as well if you don't take care of it this particular round. So we're gonna hit done. UFOs detected. Oh, see, oh, look at that. We guessed North America and we actually lucked out. So we're gonna go ahead and put a UFO in North America, but luckily we thought ahead and put an interceptor there. I didn't know that. The game is, you know, fairly random. So we're gonna hit done and pause. We have another enemy in the base, so we're going to go ahead and draw another one, flip it over. A thin man in the base. We're going to hit done. Another UFO. Well, we didn't plan on Australia being attacked, but what do? You know, we had no chance. Australia's just going to have to take one for the team this round. So done. Assign research to 3. So now we can use that 3rd spot for research. And we have... Sorry, my research cards are actually over here. And... let's see here. UFO flight. Place 1. Move any soldiers. No, let's not do that. Let's just do the Carapace armor. It's cheap. It's easy. It needs 1 success. We'll put 1 scientist on there. Like so. And then we'll hit done. Deploy satellites. Alright. So we know for sure that we're going to get 2 there from the crisis. So let's go ahead and put 2 satellites up there and hope we get lucky, you know, as far as with that. And that's what and satellites can also be used for other things as well, for cards that that you get researched for the central officer, and also they have cards as well. You can see them up there that can be used. I'm not going to show you everything. I just for the in the spirit of time, but so there we deploy the satellites and then defend the base. Now we get to choose who's going to defend the base. And well, we have the Thin Man once again. We need to have somebody that can actually fight him. So we have 1 sniper. So we're going to go ahead and put that there so they can try to fight the sniper. And the sectoid has a lot of different things, and he has that symbol. So we're going to go ahead and put a support in there. And it doesn't look like, yeah, it doesn't look like the heavies can actually affect any of these guys, because the symbols don't match up at all. So we're going to put another support in there, because I don't want to take any damage to the base. So we're going to hit done. Assign research to 2. We're not going to probably get this research, but what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start it and hopefully get along the way. And so why don't we go ahead and maybe we'll start the satellite targeting. I'm only going to put 1 scientist on this. Chances are we're not going to get that lucky and get it, but you can succeed and start building towards getting that particular research done. So we're going to go ahead and hit done, and a UFO is detected. We have 1 in South America. Once again, unfortunately, we did not plan for that, so we'll go ahead and put that down there. Done. Another crisis. This has been a pretty brutal turn, actually. A surprisingly brutal turn. So increased panic by Africa 1. First time a non-Thin Man enemy is killed this round, spawn a new enemy in spot. Ugh, I don't like that at all. So we're going to go ahead and increase the panic there. So we're going to hit done. Oh, thank goodness. Ending time phase. Now, when you get to this ending time phase, anybody that has any kind of a timed ability on a card can use it, and before we hit X. So one of the things that's really cool is the squad leader has this thing. Squad leader, time phase, place 2 soldiers here, discard a crisis card from the crisis pool, limit once per round. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and put those 2 soldiers that we had left on there, and then we're going to go through this particular deck, and we're going to get rid of this increased panic in North America by 1. Just get rid of it. So that, because that's just a really good ability. We can ditch it, and it doesn't cost us anything because these didn't get placed on the board. It's not costing anything in our budget. We can exhaust this and get a free interceptor. You build it and we just take it. So you can do that. We can add this interceptor for free. No reason not to do it. Add it to our reserve like that. So everybody should, at this point, go through what they have and see if they have anything left. That one can't really help us, the Research Center, but I do believe what you can do is, with this particular card, the Satellite Nexus, place a satellite here. You can move 1 UFO on the board to orbit or to a continent that has not fallen into panic. Well, we have these 2 interceptors sitting there. So we'll take one of these satellites, place it on there, we'll activate that card. We're going to say, no, Australia, this guy is not going to, we're getting 2 here, remember, so we don't want to put another one there. We can put it there, and so we have those 2 interceptors there waiting to fight it. And this is an ability, we might have been able to do this. This is another ability that Mission Control has. You can place a satellite there and move one unit from the reserve to the board, or from the board to its reserve. But we're not going to do that because we've already used all the units, and we're not going to do that. So you kind of wrap up all the little time phase type of situations and do that. And then you hit done, and now it'll, you know, cool little picture of the thing flying, and you hit proceed. So you audit the budget. That's the first thing that you do. And so what do we have? These are reserves, so we don't count them. We have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Exactly what we spent. We had 15. Remember, I took the 2 extra from the slush fund. So we have 15. We're even. We don't have to worry about, we didn't panic anybody. We didn't spend too much. We hit exactly on the dot. It would have been nice maybe to have a little bit extra. We could have maybe, you know, activated some of these soldiers or bought that last interceptor, but I'll take it. So recruit soldiers and build interceptors. If we had any money left over, we'd do that at this point. We don't. So resolve crises. Now we go through each crisis from the top to the bottom and resolve them. So we go ahead and increase panic in Africa by 1. Sorry, Africa. Like so. We spawn 2 UFOs in orbit. We knew that was coming, no big deal. Put those there. Increase panic in Europe by 1. Sorry, Europe. And shuffle the crisis deck and immediately draw and resolve the top crisis. Ugh, this could be bad. Alright, shuffling it up. Shuffling it up. And, what do we get? Move 2 interceptors from global defense to the reserve. That stinks. So we have to take 2 of them from defense. Basically, they get removed. So we want to, well, geez, we don't want to lose Europe to go up by 2, but we don't want to. So, oh man, that stinks. Well, we have to. Oh, jeez. See, this is what happens when you play the game. We're just going to have to let Europe increase its threat. You know, there's really nothing we can do about that situation. It is what it is. We can't let North America get out of hand, you know, because they're already pretty high up on that list. So we resolved our crises. That was a bad blow. And resolve research. Okay, now we're actually going to show you how the die rolls work. So we have a situation where this one we need 2 successes. We have 2 scientists. So what you do is you take two dice, like 1 for each one, scientist, and this red die. And what you want to do is you don't want the red die to be equal to or less than where this marker is. It starts at 1, goes up to 5. So you roll these 3 dice. You're looking for successes. So I get 1 success and 1 blank. And so we put 1 success in the hyperwave com, sorry. And now we can go, and we can increase this to 2. So I can continue going. I can continue trying to push my luck, which I'm going to do. Hopefully we don't roll a 2 or a 1. Rolled a 7, but 2 blanks. Now these dice have 1/3 of a chance. It has that marker on 2 of them. I'm going to keep trying. I want to get that last success. So here we go. Oh, man. Alright, so that's just poor luck. So, okay, I hit the 3. So, unfortunately, what happens is that these 2 scientists become exhausted. They can't be used anymore this round, and they're unavailable to the research player next round as well. So, go ahead and just move them there. When the next round comes, what you'll do is you'll move them back, and they'll keep them with that face up with the red mark on it. You can't use them. That's just unfortunate, but that's what it is. This resets back to 1. Here we have 1 scientist. We're just going to see if we can get lucky with this satellite targeting. Okay, so that's a 5 and a blank, so nothing. An 8 and a success. Woohoo! Put a success on that one. And remember, the research ones stay there. You can replace them if, like, you want to replace them later, like you get another research that you really want and it says research 1. You can take that off and put something else. But you lose all the progress that you've done. So we're at a I'm sorry, I think I rolled, this would be my 3rd roll, I believe. I could be wrong. Well, somebody will tell me if I'm wrong. So we go ahead and see if we get another success. Alright, so we've exhausted that scientist. We'll put him over there. But we got 1 success, which is pretty cool. Now let's hopefully we can get lucky with the carapace armor. We go back down to 1, roll, a 4 and a blank, go up to 2, An 8 and a success. All right, sweet. So we got the carapace armor. Now you can go ahead and we can give that to the squad leader, and because it's immediately available. And so you can exhaust this, re-roll an alien die during a mission enemy task. That's pretty sweet. So now they got that armor. And so now we have that blank, and this scientist will go back, when they're in the refresh phase, it'll go back face up, because he isn't exhausted from all the work that he's done. So there, we've completed that. So we'll go ahead and hit next. Central Officer, resolve the orbital defense. So we got 2 satellites, and we got 2 UFOs up there. So we need 2 successes, same thing. Go down to 1. We're going to roll the dice. I'm going to accept it. So destroy 1. And so now I'm going to keep going. And now satellites get exhausted just like, I don't know how you exhaust a satellite, but if you don't take out the UFOs in orbit, they get exhausted as well. So no 2 or 1. And, oh, I should say that if you get this success, you get to count the success. So if I were to roll, here, let me see what I get here. A 7 and a success. Okay, so cool. I destroyed both of the satellites in orbit. Now, if that had been like a 2 and a success, I'd still destroy it. But these would be exhausted. But they're not. So, cool. We're done. We can go ahead and move those into the middle like so. And we're done with the orbital defense. We don't have to worry about anything with those. So we're going to hit next. Commander, resolve the global defense. For each continent, this is when you're going to be rolling for your interceptors. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about this, but we have 1 and 1. So we're going to roll 1, 1, a 2, and a blank. Not good. A 4 and a blank. Not good. 2 and a blank. Okay, so the interceptor gets blown up. We're going to go ahead and place that back there. But he managed to take out the UFO. Suicide mission, if you will. So there we go. We've gone ahead and taken care of that. So at least that's good. So, but unfortunately, Europe is going to go up by 2 because there's 2 UFOs left there. And South America is going to go up by 1. Like so. And you leave the UFOs there. You don't take them off. They're just hovering and waiting to be destroyed next round, hopefully. So the squad leader, same deal. We're going to be rolling dice to do the mission. Now the difference between this is that you can only assign one soldier per task. So in this case, you can assign up to 2 soldiers, 1 to this and 1 to this. So because of the fact that you get the bonus die and you get the bonus die for an assault, we have an assault there. If we assigned 1, remember we only need 1 success. We assign just this assault to that thing. 1 extra die, 1 extra die, so we can double up on our extra dice, and hopefully we can get a success here. And we're just going to roll, we're just assigning 1 soldier to that task, because we don't want, if we fail, it would kill all the soldiers. But if we just have 1, we only lose 1. So let's see what we get here. So there we go, we got 1 success, and we've defeated that particular portion of that mission. So we go ahead and place that in there. This goes up to 2. Unlike the other things, the threat does go up and it stays up with these particular rolls. Now, where did my my Thin Man go that I had to fight? Oh, there he is. So only 1 success is needed to kill a Thin Man. But the thing about Thin Man is that if you kill him, he immediately another one spawns. So we can reassign. So we only need 1 success. So I'm going to just assign 1 of my assault to this. So we're going to go ahead and roll. A 7 and a success. So we kill him, but the unfortunate thing is because he's a Thin Man, he immediately new enemy in his spot. And so what we're going to do is we're going to get another Thin Man in that location. Ugh. This is troublesome. You know what? What I'm going to do in this case is that, you know what? I'll roll 1 more time. A 3, and we'll see if we can just kill that guy off. Now, hold on. 3. So I got him. I killed him. But Thin Man. So now he's replaced with a floater. But I lost my soldier that I associated. He got killed. And now we're up to a 4. And you know what? I'm done. I'm not going to move. I'm not going to push my luck anymore in that spot. I'm just going to move forward, and we're going to be okay, and we're going to reset this down to 1, and we'll take care of that mission, hopefully, next round. So we go ahead and resolve base defense. I did it out of order. I should have done the base defense first. I do apologize. So let's do the base defense now too. We'll accept that as our role and process it. So we have a thin man and a sector commander. We can attack what we want. Sector commander, we have to get 3 successes, and he has 3 spots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign a support, because he gets 2 dice because he likes that particular spot, and I'm going to assign a second support. So I'm going to have 3 dice, and yeah, I think that's all I'm going to do. So I'm going to have 3 dice and this die, and just like the mission, this one increases and it keeps increasing. So if I can somehow get 3 successes on this first roll, I'll take out the sector commander. Not a success. Oh, and I should have mentioned, each one of those that I killed, the salvage goes to the research person so they can use the dead body of the alien to help them with their research. So hold on. 1 success! Yay! So remember, the first success rolled against this enemy does not place a spot on it, so that doesn't work any good. So now we're up to 3. And you know what? I'm getting grumpy now, and I'm going to try to take this guy out because I don't want to take damage to my base. All right, this is ridiculous. So I'm done. I'm just going to take 2 different. I mean, I don't want to lose a bunch of. I'm in the process. I'm going to lose my soldiers in this situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the 2 damage. I don't care. I'm kind of grumpy at this point. But we're going to go ahead, and that's what happens when you don't kill the aliens in there. So hit next. Was the XCOM base destroyed? It was not destroyed. If I said destroyed, to say the game is over. Now a squad leader. We've already done that. Resolve the mission. And the resolution phase. Did any of these go into red? No. So normally what you could do is you can move them and put it into red or whatever, but we didn't. They're all still in yellow. Let's hit next. Did you complete a mission this round? Not completed. Now this is important because basically when you complete missions, you eventually earn the right to flip this card over and have the final mission available to you. Even if you don't complete a mission, eventually it does give it, you have the option, but it behooves you to complete missions as fast as possible. So you say not completed. So the refresh phase, what will happen here is all exhausted cards are refreshed, tokens are moved, and everything like that. I'm not going to go through the whole process. You go through that. You return all the units to reserve, so anything that was like out here, you'd put them back on the cards. Oh, I'm sorry. These go back, but soldiers that are on the mission stay on the mission. But you know, a lot of stuff I've already done. So like the satellites will go back. All this stuff, except for the soldiers and these wouldn't go back. I mean, technically, I don't even think you're supposed to put these out there. We just do when we play, just to keep track of it. But the dead soldiers and the blown up interceptors obviously do not go back. So you place all those, and then this says how many UFOs are in orbit. If you have UFOs left in orbit, what will happen is it'll deploy them. The app will actually deploy them out to other spaces as well. But also, any UFOs left in orbit will disrupt the central office's ability to communicate, and it'll actually have the things that you normally happen in fairly good order do not happen in order, and so it's a bad thing. But we got rid of all the UFOs. That was one thing we actually did succeed at. We're going to hit next, and then you go on to begin round 2, and that's so you start deploying, and just like the last round, new technology available. And you hit done. There's your budget, assign your research, and so on and so forth. And that's how you play the game. Eventually, you will either get this final mission and defeat it and win the game, or your base will be destroyed, or you'll get 2 of these up there. It seems to me that the panic has been our way of loss more often than anything else. We've lost with having the base get destroyed, but it seems to me more often than not, it has always been the 2 of these getting up into the top level on the panic chart that has caused the loss of the game. All right, so thank you for sitting through that pretty long process of showing you how to play. Let me tell you exactly what I think about XCOM, the board game, and also I'll touch on the whole idea of using apps in board games as well. No, that ain't happening. All right, so, well, there you go. And I hope you have a good frame of mind of how the game is played, and you have a real good idea of the mechanisms. The game is like a lot of co-ops. very, very, very straightforward. I mean, there really isn't any kind of loosey-goosey hiccups here that like, like, go check out that one rule version 2.A, if this happens, then this kind of thing. I mean, there are quite a bit of like nooks and crannies at the very beginning when you start playing the game, trying to teach yourself how to learn. As I mentioned in the gameplay version, or a portion of this video, you have to play introductory first. Unless you have somebody that's played the game before you, I just play one round of the game in the introductory walkthrough that the app has, because we made the mistake of saying, okay, this can't be that tough, let's just play and see what happens, and we had no idea what we were doing. It'll take you about 10 minutes to learn the basics of the game, but if you do that, then at that point you can step out of that little walkthrough that the game has, and you can go ahead and play the game like on easy, so you don't really have a time limit. You can just kind of take the game at your pace, and trust me, you'll save yourself a lot of time. We of course didn't the first time we played it. So, all right. So, what do I think of the game? I'm going to begrudgingly say the game is a lot of fun. I was not expecting to enjoy it to the level that I have been. I have now played the game about 7 times with my gaming group, and I've gone ahead and played it solo 3 times. One right before I did this video, just to kind of refresh myself on the rules and everything like that. And I mean, before I even go into the whole process and the theme and everything like that, it definitely satisfies my 3 co-op game rules. It kicked my ass the first time that we played it, and we got destroyed. We had no shot. It gives everybody a chance to shine. There's no one person telling everybody else what to do. You go here, you do that. You go here, you do that. You go here, you do that. And then there's a little sub-reference whenever I mention that co-op portion. Some games, I mean, every co-op game, usually, like, it gives you a role, right? But it's one of those things where a lot of the stuff is that games lend themselves towards one person gravitating to being the general, and for lack of a better term, and then telling everybody this is what we're going to do. And I was really worried that the budget person, the command person, would gravitate towards that role. But for whatever reason, it just doesn't seem like that. Because what happens is because they have the budget and they're like, look, we got 14 credits. That's all we got. And, I know you want to use 5 scientists, but there's 4. But more often than not, what happens is that, like, the communications person, the satellite person will, look, I can get by with only 1 satellite this turn. That'll give him his extra scientist. And somebody else will say, well, look, I've got this elite soldier now. The squad leader will say, it's no big deal. We can do that. And so everybody kind of chips in and figures out ways that, like, and to either, like, withdraw what they need or find a good use of their card or an ability or whatever, and to balance that whole section. Because ultimately, what really, the one thing in this game that restricts you is your money, is the economy of the game. And finding a way, literally, to balance the budget is the way that you beat this game. I mean, that and getting good die rolls and stuff. But I mean, because it is a game that you can put yourself into a position to win, but with a few bad die rolls, you're just done. I mean, we played games with my gaming group that we were flying high, and the command person with the interceptors just has a horrible turn and like loses like 6 or 7 interceptors on a turn. And at that point, you're just screwed. I mean, you can't rebuild them fast enough, and you can't do anything about the UFOs flying overhead, terrorizing the world. So anyway, so it satisfies that second one, that whole no one person telling everybody what to do. And thirdly, as I always say, if I sit down and I play a 4-player game and everybody at the table is just as good as I am, I should win that game 1 out of every 4 times. And I still say, no matter how good I get at a board game, at a cooperative board game, I should still only win 1 out of every 4 times. And right now, my success rate in XCOM is like, well, what is it? I've played it like 11 times, and I've got 2 wins. So it's... And I keep coming back for more. I keep coming back to get punched in the face just because the game is a lot of fun. Why is it a lot of fun? I mean, it's just the whole process. First of all, the theme, obviously. I mean, the whole process of, like, saving the world from aliens. And it doesn't hurt that I played the heck out of those computer games and console games, as I said, back in the day. So it's a continuation of that love of the theme that brings me to this spot as well. I love the interactivity. I mean, everybody talking, everybody saying, look, we can do this, we can do that, we can do this. And I wasn't sure what I'd think about the timed portion of the game, but man, there is something about, like, you know, having, the good mission control person with the satellites, they should be doing a countdown. If you're playing that role, you should say, when somebody says, squad leader, you need to pick a mission, you got 17 seconds. And when they're looking, you got 11 seconds. You got 6 seconds. You need me to pause. You know, and that's one of those things where that person needs to be doing that. And it's just the open communications, the conversations that, and it's this wonderful, the time portion of the game is this wonderful, like, fear-drenched hysteria that you go through that you know, really gets you pumped up and excited. And, you know, I'm talking about a board game, and you're getting excited, and you're getting, oh my gosh, you know, it's like, oh man, you're cursing which crisis card is being, the decisions of the crisis card, you're cursing, oh man, we don't have any interceptors in Australia, we're screwed, you know, things like that. And then you finally get done with that, and you're like, oh, and then you go to the resolution. Now you can relax, and everybody can say, okay, you know, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? How are we going to beat this? And it's the game ties those 2 elements, those 2 realms perfectly. You have this incredible urgency until you get to the time phase done, and then you have this wonderful, like, calm, but also expectation, for lack of a better term. I mean, it's just like, okay, all right, here we go. All right, we got 1 interceptor against 3 UFOs. Can we get lucky? Can we take these things out? And that's that moment where, like, you'll have a miraculous roll and a miraculous turn of, like, you know, defeating a mission, or like, you know, that situation with 1 interceptor against 3 UFOs, and you pull it off. And then on the same spectrum, you'll have, like, 3 interceptors against 2 UFOs, and you'll roll a 1. And it's like, they all blow up, and you're like, ah! But that's what the game is, and you eventually, like, kind of gravitate out of the whole, I really want to win this game, and you get into the whole, I really want this game to be fun. And the mark of, and I should almost say, there should be 4 Undead Viking rules of cooperative games. And the 4th one should be, even when it's kicking my ass, am I still having a good time? And if I can say yes to that, then the game is obviously amazing, and I can't recommend it enough. Now, all that being said, the app. What do I think about apps and board games? And I'm not, and you know what, you can just turn this off right now if you don't want to listen to this part. I understand completely. I look at board games as my moment to unplug from the world. And I have friends, and I mean, and I'm a complete hypocrite. I mean, I use my cell phone to connect myself with my job, my family, you know, my friends, and obviously this whole video stuff that I do. I mean, constantly talk to people that I know that are in the industry, you know, reviewer friends, things like that. And without it, you know, I wouldn't stay on top of this hobby that I love so much. Now, all that being said, when we have a fairly strict rule, you know, when we meet up for our gaming, or we meet up for our D&D sessions or whatever, that put your cell phone away. You know, we understand if it goes off, fine, whatever. Pick it up, look at it, see what it is, but put it away. You know, you don't need to be looking up something on Wikipedia. You don't need to be, you know, texting somebody when you're hanging out with your buddies. You don't need to be, you know, checking Facebook to see if anybody said anything. And I look at when I sit down to game as a time like when I was 15 and I sat down to game. And for the next 6 hours, my friends had 100% of my attention. Now, obviously, I can't do that anymore. I have a wife. I have children. You know, my kids are usually running around the table while we play. But, I mean, I owe it to my gaming moment to be detached, to be unplugged from the electronic world that I live in 98% of the time. I was really not wanting to like this game. I honestly wanted to say, bah, game's horrible. Get apps out of my hobby. And sadly, it's kind of winning me over. I actually, the first time I played the game, I actually sat up that night and I thought about it. I was like, is it possible? Would it be possible for somebody to make this game without the app as is? And I think you probably could. I mean, you'd have to have a lot of cards, and there'd be some charts and tables and things like that, and you could probably do it. You could probably pull it off. But sadly, I don't think it would be as much fun. There's something to be said for having the computer basically handle a lot of the minutia. Now, I don't want to see an app in every single game that I go ahead and play in, though. And I do worry a little bit that that's the direction that we're going. And that's where we may end up at some point. And ultimately, this game is amazing. And it's a lot of fun. And I really can't recommend it enough. If you like co-ops, it's a must-buy. If you like sci-fi games, it's a must-buy. If you're a fan of the XCOM universe and you're a board game geek like I am, you've already got the game. And if you don't, why not? It's something that you're going to want to play, and you're going to want to play a lot, and you're going to want to play it by yourself and with your friends and with your family. And I think it's one of, I don't want to say it's like a game that'll be permanently on my game shelf, but I can't ever see myself getting rid of this game. I mean, you know, I know a good game when my friends are already talking about, man, I wonder what the expansions are going to be like. and it's just like, we've only played the game, like, we haven't even played the game 10 times, and you're already talking about going to it having an expansion. I mean, that's the way we think, and we're already thinking about how the game is going to expand and continue to be fresh and continue to be exciting and fun for us to play. So, there you go. For all those reasons and more, I strongly suggest that you run out and get a copy of XCOM, the board game, and have a go at it yourself. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear those about the game or about apps and board games or what have you. I'd love to hear what you have to think. As always, I really, really, really appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos. And until the next one of these things that you watch, you go ahead and have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right, bye-bye.